true, Barbara.
Welcome back to the Deadlight Society.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm Adam.
I'm Michael.
And today, we're going to be talking about the 1981 movie, Bloody Birthday.
Yes. This is a movie that was recommended by my mother. It came out in 1981. It's streaming right now on Tubi for free. It is an hour and 25 minutes long, and it is also rated R. Some ratings off the bat. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 67%, IMDb a 5.7 out of 10, and Google an 86%. So curious to see. I think I'm gonna like it just because it's an 80s slasher. So there's nothing really to pick apart too much. I don't think, besides maybe the acting. But
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing. I mean, that and special effects, but even that, it's still 81, and it's not. It's early on in the slasher craze.
Yeah. But the description for this is, on Google, the description is, as their 10th birthday approaches, 3 children born prematurely during a complete solar eclipse turn murderous. So, sweet and to the point, that pretty much sums it up. You're going to have these 3 kids in this movie that like to fuck shit up. And just, I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming that they're killing people and doing bad things they're not supposed to do. So, curious to see how that takes place as an 80s slasher. And is this like pre-slasher? Like this is like one of the first slashers, right? Or what came?
I don't know if it's one of the first, but it's Halloween was like the first big slasher. But before that, you had Giallo films, which were like Italian slasher movies. That was like throughout the early 70s, which Halloween pulls from. And then once Halloween gets successful in like drive-ins and stuff, everybody, like every film production company, wants to have their own holiday horror movie. So you get like Friday the 13th, you get Silent Night, Deadly Night, or no, not Silent Night, Deadly Night, Black Christmas. Black Christmas, you get Bloody Birthday, you get like Easter ones, you get Christmas ones, you get Thanksgiving ones, you get all kinds of different shit. All stemming from just Halloween. Fucking find out!
So, since this week's movie is based on, these kids that are murderous and they kill people and they're just bad kids, I thought it would be a good topic of discussion to talk about an actual, like, real person, a real kid who killed people. And I think it would be best to take it back to the first school shooter, which is before Columbine, actually. I think a lot of people think that Columbine was the first one, and that's not the case. It was actually in San Diego, California, with Brenda Spencer. She was 16 at the time, and yes, she's a girl school shooter, which I don't feel like we hear much of, especially anymore.
No, not really. It's usually some incel fucking kid.
Yeah, so it's, she's the first, or I guess known. I mean, it could have been something else before this, but the first in the news is Brenda Spencer in January 29th, 1979 in California at Grover Cleveland Elementary School. She lived across the street from this elementary school. So it's just this one Monday she decides, like, to shoot up this school across from her as these elementary school students are getting, like, they're walking into school. They're going to school, and she's just like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. So she actually, I believe it was Christmas, she got a new gun from her father or something, and she used this gun to do this on this morning. And she ended up killing the principal as well as a custodian, and 8 children and a police officer were also injured. And after this took place, they used a garbage truck to kind of block her line of sight after, and once she couldn't, continue shooting anybody, a reporter somehow got her phone number, and they called her house while she's still in there. The police are outside. Everything's going on still. And the reporter calls, and she answers the phone. The reporter asks her, like, why did you do this? Why are you doing this? Like, what's the deal? And her response is basically just, well, I don't like Mondays. This livens up the day. And and it's actually the inspiration for the Boomtown Rats song, I Don't Like Mondays. And that's wild to me that was her response.
My only problem with your whole story right now about this is that you said somehow they figured out what her phone number was. They knew she lived across the street from the school. They had phone books at the time, dude.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's
everyone's
true.
number was in the phone book with their address.
That's fair. That's fair. Listen, I'm just trying to tell the story, okay? I have key points written down on my little paper right here. But that was they got her phone number, they called her. Sorry, I guess I forgot about the phone books. They looked in the phone book, they called her, asked her, and she just said, "I don't like Mondays." So, not any relevance to this movie whatsoever. Just
yeah, we're not trying to draw the conclusion that like violence and fucking movies.
Yeah, no,
and whatever
it's
other bullshit.
It's literally just a killer kid in a episode about a movie with killer kids. So no relevance, just a case that I just wanted to share with everybody who may not have heard it. But she was tried as an adult, even though she was 16, and she was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison, which she's still there to this day, and she's 60 now, I believe. So. Yeah, we pulled up the wiki page just to read a little bit, and yeah, she looks a little wild now.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I guess prison will do that though.
Yeah.
I guess prison will do that. But yeah, just
I feel like all killers though kind of have like that look behind their eyes though too. Like
yeah, that's
the
true.
blank look of just like nothing.
Yeah, even if you look at pictures of her as like a teenager when this happened, as she's like being arrested, she still has like this evil look to her. But it's crazy. It's a crazy case. Like I said, first school shooter, so that it's before Columbine. A lot of people think that Columbine was the first, just because it was so like such big news at the time that was thought to be the first. But she came before that, and it was a girl, which is wild. But yeah, that's it for the topic of discussion. Just wanted to bring up that. If anybody has any questions or comments about that as well, and Facebook page, hit us up, talk to us. I think neither of us have seen this movie, Bloody Birthday, so we're gonna dive into it very shortly. I have seen the trailer for it, so it reminds me of Children of the Corn in a way. I know Children of the Corn was more of like a cult in a way. And I don't think that's going to be the route here, since it's trying to take a more like...
Who walks behind the stalks? Is that what their god is?
Huh?
He who walks amongst the stalks, or like behind the stalks. I forget what their god's called. It's been so long since I watched Children of the Corn.
But this is like, during a solar eclipse, something like they go crazy or something. So, curious to see. I think but my mom's the one that recommended it, and it's one of her favorites, so definitely curious to check it out. And if it's a flop, you can thank my mother for that.
I'm going into this completely blind. I didn't even see the trailer or anything.
Oh, okay. So, cool. So we're going to take a look at that now. And yeah, I don't... Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay.
I don't have any pre-information. I didn't research at all, really.
Yeah, no, not really. We just gave you like some of the ratings and stuff, and that's pretty much all we have. So we're going to dive in now, and then we will be back for part 2 for our actual in-depth discussion. So spoiler warnings ahead. And yeah, so we'll be back.
1970. 3 children were born during a total eclipse of the sun. Now, 10 years later, they share a terrible compulsion to kill, and no one can stop them. If they decide they don't like you, watch out. The children will stop at nothing to get a deadly murder weapon. And anyone can be their victim. No one is safe. Not even their families can escape. Bloody Birthday. Children shouldn't play with sharp objects. They hate their babysitter and her little brother. And the teachers at school are so mean. No matter where you run, they'll find you. There's no escape. Bloody Birthday, a terrifying journey into the bazaar. Will you get out alive?
We are back after Bloody Birthday. What'd you think?
Surprisingly, I think it was okay. I think for an 80s movie in the early 80s, I really came into this expecting like awful acting and just a really outdated type movie. And I mean, obviously some things are outdated, but overall, like acting and all of these things in this, it really wasn't too bad.
I love this era of slasher movies, so like it's it's stupid, but I love it.
Yeah, like I said, I really didn't expect much from this, but I did actually enjoy it. Spoiler warning again, this point forward, but Fear or Flop, what do you think that you'd give it?
It's I want to go like directly in the center of Fear and Flop because like it's definitely bad, but it's definitely good too. Like there's a lot of good in it, but there's also like very obvious bad.
Yeah.
Like, I guess like because I'd like this movie because it's the first time we saw it. Maybe after like other watches I'd change it. But it's like a Fear 1 or 2.
Okay. I feel like I'm gonna give it a Fear as well, and I'd probably give it like a Fear. Be like a 5. I think I'll go like right in the middle. Fear 5. Like you said, there are some questionable things in here, like some of the choices that happened, and just some of the like the kills. It's a little like questionable. Like when the father that's a cop. They just beat him in the head with the baseball bat, and just like the kid sees it, and he sees them trying to carry his body up the steps, and then the girl Debbie, she calls for her mom, like, "Mom, Daddy fell down the steps."
Daddy had an axe.
Yeah. Like, there's some
she's making eye contact with the kid.
Yeah. Like some things, it's just like, okay, like how, I don't know, like they're like 11 years old. Like how are they doing this stuff? Like they're carrying these bodies, no problem.
Yeah, like 2 of these fucking little boys are carrying fucking full-grown adult bodies, and it's like,
yeah,
all right.
I don't think so. Like I get they're 11 now, or I think that's the age that they're turning in this, but all 3 of them were born on the same day, so they share the same birthday, and they were born on like a solar eclipse or something, I think it was. And I guess you kind of get a few scenes in here where they're trying to explain that a little bit better. Like I know the older sister, I gotta figure out names because I don't know any of these people's names. I should have been writing names down as I was going, but
the older, I think her name's Joyce.
Yeah.
Because I remember it from the yearbook picture.
The one with the
Joyce Russell, I think her name.
Yeah,
is.
okay. Yeah, Joyce, which is the older sister of the other little boy that's not one of these crazy kids. But
Debbie's sister is Beverly, and then Joyce is Tommy. Tommy's sister.
I really should have wrote these names down. I'm really fucking up because I'm trying to explain who these people are.
The 3 murdery kids. Murderous?
Yeah,
murdery
Curtis,
kids.
Debbie, and Steven. I have those 3.
Yeah.
But everybody else.
And then
just like,
the main kid and his sister are Tommy and Joyce.
Tommy.
And then Debbie's sister is Beverly.
Joyce. That's her name again. She was seen in this a few times, like really into astrology, and like she was talking about how like during this solar eclipse, like Jupiter wasn't in sight or something like that. So like whoever was born on that day is gonna lack something in their personality, and these three kids, Debbie, Stephen, and Curtis, were born on that day, so they're lacking obviously emotion in general. Like they're just really like psychopathic kids.
And all of them have very punchable faces. I don't know if it was like purposely done in casting or like what, but all of these kids are like smug looks and stuff. Like I just want to hit all of them.
Yeah, it's true. Especially when they start smirking after they do something like awful, and if they're like trying to get away with something, and if they do get away with something, like even like the scene with the rat poison when Curtis tricks Joyce into thinking that he put rat poison in the cake, and he didn't. He's just tricking her so that she can seem crazy to everybody else. Once she starts like at this birthday party, once she starts like going crazy and accusing him, and they taste the cake and they're like, no, there's nothing in here, and she just looks crazy, and she's like grabbing this little kid, and his grandfather is just like, don't touch him, blah, blah, blah. And then you just see Curtis like standing in the background, and he looks over at her and he just smirks, and it's just like, yeah, that is a punchable face, you're right.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, punchable face though, for sure. There's just a lot of things that these kids do in this movie. It starts opening with this scene with this couple at a gravesite, and they're just making out, a little honky-tonky going around. You see a lot of nudity.
There's a lot of nudity in this movie.
A lot of nudity.
The scenes go on for so long. Like, it's definitely gratuitous.
Yeah. But like the opening scene, it's this couple. They, for some reason, move to a newly dug gravesite with nothing in it. Just I guess ready for the next day.
That's where they wanted to fuck.
Yeah, and they just go in there and they just start making out again, like ready to just do it. And I'm just like, first of all, why? And second of all, everything that happens right after that is just hilarious because dirt gets thrown in there and the dude just kind of like pops his head up, and we're just both like, shovel, where's the shovel? And sure enough, yep, hit right in the head with the shovel. Right in the head. Yes. First time he gets knocked down, and then the girl kind of looks up and she's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And then she gets a rope around the neck, and they're hanging her. Which again, these are 11-year-old kids. How the fuck are they picking up this grown ass woman? But whatever.
Well, I think it's only Debbie because at the end it's only her using the rope while the other two are trying to use the gun.
That's what I'm saying. Like these are little ass kids. Like just completely demolishing all these adults, and it's just crazy to see and funny. But she's picking up this girl, like hanging her, and then the boy he was knocked out briefly from the shovel. He gets up, tries to get his girlfriend down, and just again immediately hit with the shovel, and we just both looked at each other and we're cracking up.
Well, they both I don't know if it was an accident during filming or what, but they both get like beamed with the shovel like in one swing.
Yeah.
So it was so fucking funny, and you can tell like the shovel's like a rubber shovel, because it like ricochets a little bit and bounces, but it's so wonky looking.
It was a funny opening scene. Like obviously it puts you right into it. Like you don't have this whole big character development thing. The very first opening scene is like kind of more or less dialogue of these children being born. Like you just kind of have a bunch of like screaming and like birth giving like dialogue in the background.
Like
and Adam's like, what the fuck is this?
Footage.
And I'm like, that's like them giving birth. Like you don't see anything, you just hear it as you just see like
well, no,
the
it's
eclipse.
literally just this weird fucking eclipse footage.
Yeah.
It's just black and white, and it's just like fading, like it's like showing the different phases of it, but like there's this weird effect over it that's like early 80s like trying to be computer graphic kind of thing, but it just didn't work, and I had no idea what was going on for at least the first
he
2
did,
minutes
he
of
was
this
literally
movie.
looked at me and he's like, what is going on? I'm like, they're doing their intro, like they're explaining, like they're giving birth right now.
Nothing that
he
I
was like,
heard
oh.
made any sense to me at all. I was like, I hear them talking about like astrology or like what. It was just like the doctors talking at the time. I think like there's no pictures. Like what am I
was
seeing?
so confused. But that whole scene happens, and then it fast forwards to this graveyard thing with this couple that ends up being buried alive, and then they die. The next kill ends up being the dad, who was the cop, which this is the dad of what's her name, Debbie. This is her and Beverly, because Debbie and Beverly are sisters. That's their father. He's a cop, and he's the one that ends up getting the baseball bat to the back of the head by, I think it was probably Curtis. Either Curtis or Steven, but I think it was Curtis. Curtis and Debbie are mainly the two in here that are like...
Yeah, Steven barely does shit.
Yeah, he's kind of just like third wheeling the whole time. Just like, okay, I'll hold this for you, or okay, like, we'll do this. Like,
it really does, because like, even when shit happens throughout the whole movie, it's always like, you're not allowed to talk to Curtis anymore. You're not allowed to be around Curtis. It's never, oh, you're not allowed to talk to Steven.
Yeah.
With Curtis.
I mean, rightfully so, though, because he is kind of the one that really takes charge a lot in this. And, I mean, you have Debbie also behind the scenes who's calling a lot of the shots, I feel. But, and then she's just the one with the rope a lot of the times trying to, like, string people up, so.
Yeah, her and Curtis are definitely on, like, the same level, I feel like, psycho-wise. But, like, Steven's just dumb.
Yeah, he's just there just to be there. You know, he's trying his best.
Yeah. The dumb henchman that you need in every movie.
But after that scene takes the third person to die in this is their teacher, and it's kind of like the scenes that she's not in very many scenes because she dies pretty early on, but like the scenes that she's in, she does act like a bitch. I won't lie. Like literally, the bell rings in one of the scenes, and she's like, "The bell does not dismiss you. I do." And it's just like, I remember that from high school. Those teachers were always bitchy. It's always those ones that are just like, you don't leave until I tell you you can leave. Like, okay, well then you can tell my teacher when I get to my next class late why I was late, right?
I was about to name a teacher on here, and I was just like, I shouldn't do that.
Yeah. So we've all been there, right? We've all had that teacher. I'm sure we have. But does that mean that I would want to murder that teacher just because of that? Or because I asked that teacher that I needed to have, like, no homework or some shit because my birthday party.
Oh, yeah, because, like, three of them have shared
Yeah.
Because, like, the three shared the same birthday, they all asked, like, hey, can we have no homework?
Yeah.
Because we have a big birthday party that everyone's invited to.
And she basically just shot them down and was like, you're not special. And they're like, okay, adding you to my burn book.
How'd they kill her again? Literally just like one single gunshot from Curtis.
Yeah. She's in, and we were trying to figure out if she was at home or if she was at school, but she was definitely at the school. She was either in the teacher's lounge or like a home ec class or something like that, because she's like over the sink. She has paint, as what we're assuming she was mixing.
Yeah, she's like mixing paint or something in an iced tea.
Yeah, so she's mixing paint. She's over this counter, and Curtis, of course, sneaks up behind her, and she just turns around, and he has this prop gun that he carries around with him, apparently, and he points the gun at her, and she's just like, Curtis, don't sneak up on people, like, that's not nice. Like, and she's like make yourself useful and bring me the brushes or something, and if you bring that prop gun again to school, like, I'm gonna take it from you or something, like, you're gonna get in trouble. And he's just like, okay, whatever her name was, and he pretends like he's gonna put it away, but instead he just grabs his jacket and like makes a makeshift silencer almost. He wraps it around the gun.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was. That supposed to be
I think that's what it was supposed to be, just to try to make it. No, not at all. But I mean, that's the only thing that would make sense. Why else would you wrap that around the gun like that?
I have no fucking idea. That was so weird.
But I mean, it's a gun, so it went off. He shot her once, and he shot her once in the back, not a headshot, not nothing. Shot her once in the back. She falls over like this counter, and then just slowly falls down on the floor and is just instantly dead. And I'm just like, I don't think that's how it works.
Well, to give credit, it was the direct center of her fucking spine. Yeah. Where the gunshot hole was, so maybe it was just like, all right, she did.
I mean, she's
but paralyzed, like
she should have dropped then. Like, she rolled like real slowly down, and like, I know it's a movie, like, I know it's an '80s movie. I'm not picking on it, but it was just funny. It's just like, that's not how that would work.
It first happened in Psycho with the shower stabbing scene, and that was that slow fall.
Yeah,
I think people just copied it for their other slashers.
Yeah, well, it's not a good take to me, but whatever. And then you go through the majority of this movie then, and there's not really any kills happening. There's some attempts that happen, like they try to trap Tommy in the freezer or the refrigerator or whatever in the junkyard, and he's trapped in there for the majority of the day and ends up like somehow getting out, using his brain. for once, which you never see that in scary movies, right? They kind of just
I was happy with that.
Yeah. So he gets out. There's a few other instances of them trying to hurt people. I know they're trying to hurt Joyce a few times in here. Like,
oh, there's a kid that was throwing stones that they try to strangle with the hose and the sprinkler.
yeah.
Because that wasn't Tommy, that was another kid.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a few people that they try to kill after that, but the next person that they end up actually killing is Beverly, which is Debbie's older sister, who Debbie would charge the little boys in the neighborhood. She charged them 25 cents to come over, and she had a little peephole in her closet, and they'd watch her sister change.
Like, there's a whole fucking peephole scene in this movie that is literally like 5-6 minutes long. It's too fucking long. It's uncomfortable.
her boobies are out. She's out dancing. She's just walking around her room. She got a scarf and everything, and she's putting on a whole show for these kids.
Yeah, that's why it's like I don't like it.
Yeah,
because it's like these kids are 11 years old. And
I mean, obviously she doesn't know that she's putting on the show, but like she's just dancing around her room, having a good time, getting changed, whatever. And you know, these little kids are spying on her through this little peephole that Debbie made in her closet. But that's the peephole that's used later on to kill Beverly, because Debbie has some arrows and a bow and arrow in her closet, and she starts knocking on the wall for Beverly to come over. And Beverly comes over, she looks through the peephole, and then she just shoots her in the fucking eye with the arrow.
Definitely the best kill of the movie.
Yeah, definitely interesting. And I don't I guess, like, you try to think about it from like that perspective. I mean, we're looking at it from observers who are just like, no, don't do that, don't put your eye there. But like, she was just trying to see, you know, why are you banging on the wall? Like, what are you doing? She's aware of the peephole because Joyce told her about it, like a few scenes prior to that at the birthday party. Yeah. So she's aware of it now, and so she went right over to it when Debbie was knocking on it, and she's like, what are you doing? And then she just, yep, stabbed in the eye. Cool. And then that's the last death that you see for the remaining of the movie, besides the ending scene. Because after that, you know, their mother ends up going to the mental hospital because she had just lost her husband, and now she just lost her daughter. She only has one daughter left, so she's just like kind of going crazy, which rightfully so. She just experienced all this loss within like a few days of each other, and she's gone to the mental hospital, whatever. And so this is the chance for Debbie to rally together Curtis and Steven in order to take down Joyce and Tommy, because Joyce and Tommy have been giving them the hardest time throughout this whole movie, because they're kind of onto them and know that they're bad kids. And the cops, everybody's looking for the murderers that are going around, and why all these murders are happening, and they're not really onto anything. Like, they don't know who's doing it. They obviously, I'm sure, aren't expecting 11-year-old kids to be going around here murdering all these people. So it's just, you know, Joyce and Tommy that are onto them. So this ending scene is kind of just like all three of them trying to finally kill Joyce and Tommy. And spoiler alert, they don't.
It's not a good scene because it's just like they're all kids, so it's like they're easily just thrown to the side by the adult.
But you'd think so,
it's
but
like,
sometimes not even. Like sometimes the rope that Debbie has.
None of them work together. If you notice, they all come after like one by one.
Yeah.
Not one single person's like, hey, we should probably work together to get Joyce and Tommy down.
Yeah.
They don't do that. It's like a basic fucking like planning that they just skip over.
And it's surprising because like all the other kills in here seem pretty well planned. I mean, maybe besides Beverly was kind of another heat of the moment. Even when Curtis finally shows up at the house,
they fucked with the burglar alarm.
Yeah,
like they did all this shit beforehand to like keep them locked in the house,
but
then they don't work together when they're actually all in the house.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't. It's confusing for sure. And it's like at this point they've killed multiple people already, so they should kind of know what to do, like to be able to do this. And it's like not picking it apart again, but like when Curtis has the gun pointed at the back of Joyce's head as Tommy's asleep on the couch next to her, he like took so long to pull the trigger. Like he's just
was,
kind of standing there looking at the back of her head, and then like gives Tommy enough time to wake up, and he notices, and then he just yells real quick. He's like, "Duck, duck!" Like, and then he misses, obviously.
And even that duck was just like, I think he was still gonna miss regardless of his aim because it was like way off to the side.
And that's what I like. The first time he uses the gun, he hits that fucking teacher dead on, and he wasn't like right next to her either. He was back a little bit, so it's just like the inconsistencies here are a little bit like doesn't make sense. Like if they were able to do this then, why can't they do it now? But I mean, it's a good ending then, I guess, because I mean there is character development here that you can attach yourself to these characters and have feelings for them and not want them to die. Like obviously we've reviewed some movies already where you just don't give a shit about any of the characters, but in this one I could definitely have empathy for Joyce and Tommy and not want them to die.
What the fuck was that one stupid scene with Joyce though, where she's like, it's her boyfriend or whatever who's not the guy that she was flirting with earlier in the movie?
Oh yeah, I don't even know what that
she's
was.
She's like pouring out her heart. She's like, I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Joyce, no one said you can't. Like this entire movie, like it's not that deep. Like no one's holding you down in this town and telling you what to do.
Yeah.
Like you're watching your brother while your parents are out of town. Like that's the extent.
Yeah, that was definitely a confusing scene because it was just like, what warranted that? Like, why did she just have like a whole like
her boyfriend
monologue?
was just like, you should probably go to college. If you also if you want to become a reporter, go to college first so you actually have a backup plan.
Yeah.
It's like, I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
It's like, no one.
She's manifesting.
Yeah.
I'll give her that.
I don't understand. It was so overplayed. And it's just like, okay, whatever.
You got it, Joyce. You can do whatever you set your mind to, right? Yeah, that definitely, that is a weird scene that just kind of didn't really make sense to have in there, I guess.
No,
like,
because like literally it was just her boyfriend saying, have a backup plan. It's like,
yeah, just in case you don't get murdered by these kids, make sure you have a backup plan. Oh man, but
so fucking weird.
But yeah, they end up they're not able to kill Joyce or Tommy. They get out of it. They call the cops. The cops come. They arrest both Curtis and Steven because unfortunately Debbie was a little weasel, and when the alarm was broken finally, she just snuck her way out and, just kind of looking for her opportunity. She didn't know what she was going to do, but her mom came home right at the right time, and she sees her mom coming home. She goes over to the car, and she's just like, or she gets in the car, and she's like, Mom, she's like, they're going to blame me for what Curtis and Steven did, and they're going to take me away. I didn't do it. And then her mom believes her and just reverses the car and just drives off with her. And we looked at each other and we're just like, oh, how convenient. How convenient.
I mean, I at least give her a pass because she has lost everything at this point, and literally the last thing that she has is this little girl. So it's like, I can empathize with that. Be like, okay.
Yeah.
If my girl came up to me and said that, like, okay.
Yeah. I do.
You.
I get that because she did, like you said, she experienced all that loss. So she's just trying to hold on to whatever she has left. And unfortunately, all she has left is a very
demon spawn.
Yes, 100% demon spawn. But that's the ending of the movie, really. Then you see it cuts to Curtis and Steven being put into the back of a car at, like, I don't know if they're leaving a courthouse or wherever they're leaving. They're putting them in the back of the car, and then Curtis just pans to him, kind of grinning again up at Joyce and Tommy, just with his little, kickable face, right?
Beady fucking eyes.
It pans to that, and then it goes, it completely leaves that on like a cliffhanger in a way because you don't know what happens to them. Like, do they go to a juvenile center? Do they what? We don't know what happens. You can that's up to your interpretation, I suppose. Obviously, they're going to get in trouble because they're being put into the back of a car, and so they're going to face some type of consequence, but we're not sure what. But it pans from that then, and it goes over to Debbie and her mother, who are now at a motel somewhere. They left town. They're trying to start a whole new life. The mom is like, "Oh, you remember your name now, right? Like your new name." And she took her sister's name. She's now Bev instead of Debbie. But it opens up. She's playing with this car jack when it opens, like when that scene starts, and before her mom even comes out of the motel room, she's playing with this jack, just pushing it up and making it go back down. And then that whole scene with her mom happens, and they drive away, so they're going to wherever they're going to go. They drive away, and then the very last scene, it pans over to this truck driver who has his head smashed in because he obviously took his jack away from him. So, and that's the end of the movie. That's it. And curious to see, or not see because I don't think they made a second one, but I'm curious to know.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any sequels.
I don't know. We'll check, but curious to know what happens. Like, does Debbie ever get caught? Does she continue her killing spree? I mean, I'm gonna probably say yes because she killed the trucker by herself. So like probably, but we don't really know. I guess it's left up to our interpretation.
100% goes on to kill like
yeah
20 more people.
100%. I'm sure she does, but I'm really curious. I don't know if they have a second one or not. I don't know. But I would, if they were to make one today, like do a requel or something like that, I think
they
I would
definitely could. Yeah.
I would definitely watch it. So, 100%. Yeah. So, we just looked it up. There is no Bloody Birthday 2. There's no sequels after this, so it's just this movie. And it's not that it needs a sequel, I guess. Like, you could leave it here and leave it to interpretation. But I'd be curious to see, if they were to do a sequel now or do a requel of some sort. I think I'd definitely watch it, especially with graphics being a lot better today. I'm curious to see, what they could do with it today's standard.
Well, they definitely could make it a lot more gory.
Yes.
Because gore effects have gotten a lot cheaper now, so they definitely could do more. It's barely anything.
Yeah, you see like a little like blood stains here and there and here,
There's
but
more
nothing.
nudity than there is fucking blood in this movie.
100%. You see a lot of boobies in this movie. A lot of boobies and a lot. There was even a scene that he put her nipple in his mouth. What? I'd have never seen that before in a movie. I know Adam said that he has, but I can't think of any other movie that I've seen that shows.
I don't remember which one. It might have even been like another horror movie I saw.
Maybe,
at some point.
but I can't.
Watched 40 of them last year, so I don't remember.
I can't think of any that I've seen from a scene that shows nudity that they've actually put like nipples in their mouth or something. Like I've never seen that, so that was something to see. That's fair. And you're right. You're right. I might have seen it, but I can't remember. That was like the first I saw it was happening, and I was like, did he just he put her nipple in his mouth? But yeah, there's just a lot of nudity in here, and it's not even like a quick second nudity either. Like we said, like the dancing scene, and towards the beginning,
it's gratuitous. Like it's just too much.
There's a lot. So I mean. Wouldn't say it's too much. Just there's a lot.
It's too much. It just goes on for way too long. It's like the whole like impact thing with how many times do we have to see the head explosion?
Yeah.
It loses all.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, overall though, I really do think it was well done, and for being in '80s and early 1981, I really don't have too many complaints. And even the acting in this isn't super terrible. Like I came into this assuming that the acting was going to be god awful, and it actually wasn't too bad.
It just has a normal early slasher acting in it.
Yeah,
bad, but it's
not terrible.
Reminiscent of the time almost.
Yeah. I enjoyed it, and shout out to my mom again. Thanks for the recommendation. I don't know if we would have had this on our list so early if she didn't recommend it, so thank you. And if anybody else wants to send some recommendations, we've had a few sent our way, and we did add some to our list, so we'll dive into those soon. I'm honestly not even sure where we're going next.
No, I have no idea what we're doing next.
Yeah, we should have probably decided that before we started this episode, but we'll let you know that to be continued. We'll let you know on Facebook, and if you have any recommendations in the meantime, send them our way, and maybe we'll add it because we do have a list. So we'll take a look at what our list was and what we were supposed to go to next, and
we might be coming close to Witch Week.
Yeah, I think Maximum Overdrive was supposed to be before Witch Week, so if we dive into that or not, we'll see.
Oh, yeah, because we're going to do Firestarter, and then Maximum Overdrive to do the King month.
Yeah.
And then we decided on Clown month, or Clown Weeks.
Yeah. So,
and then we're going into Witch month.
We're all over the place.
We have a lot of witch stuff coming up, I know that.
Yeah. Fear Street, The Witch. Blair Witch
Project.
Yeah. Got a bunch. We got a bunch coming. Yeah. But
I'd throw a Scooby-Doo in there, maybe even. Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
Maybe.
Be the Hex Girls.
Be the Hex Girl. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, nothing is super set in stone at this moment. So if you do have anything you'd like us to see, message us on Facebook, or if you know either of us personally, just, message us and just like, hey, check out this one. Or check out, whatever. Like, we'll look into it. We'll see. We'll add it to our list. Even if we don't do it right away, we definitely will add it to the list. I don't know. You have anything else?
No, that's everything that I have.
Yeah, I think we went pretty in depth this time. We kind of talked to you basically from beginning to end of this movie. So you don't even have to go watch it. We told you everything that happened this time. So yeah, it's good though. It's not, not a flop. Definitely a fear. Not super high on the fear rating, but a fear nonetheless. But yeah, I think that's really it. Just a final reminder to follow our pages. We're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, kind of everywhere. To do us a favor and subscribe, the stuff, so that we can show up in the algorithms. Just the stuff that we've been saying every episode so far, basically. And then also just the support option on Anchor. If you have any additional spare change, please. Some spare change. If you wanted to support us two losers, there is an option on Anchor to help support our podcast, where we will put that money right into the podcast and get some better content for you guys, and maybe upgrade to some videos and just stuff like that. So that is, just wanted to shout that out again. But other than that, we really do appreciate any support. I'm not even talking money wise. I'm just saying any support, listening to us, liking our videos, sharing our videos to your Facebook pages. We really appreciate that, because that helps us grow. Just anything that, you guys are doing on your end to just support us emotionally, and just, more things than monetary. We're not asking for money. We're just asking for you guys to listen to us talk, basically.
The Facebook page is my rock. What? You are my support.
Oh. Okay. But I think that's it. I think that's all we're gonna go into. Yeah. Anything else? Any last words?
No, that's everything for me.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we will see you guys next week with possibly Maximum Overdrive. If not, it'll be on our Facebook page. We'll update you. So go follow us there. And yeah. Until next week.
See you next week.